On analytical bars or DTB bars?
The analytical.
Okay. On analytical bars. Okay, so that is that. It's on there now. Okay, so I've just popped it onto YouTube as well. So that's busy active there too. I'll keep an eye on the chat also in the Zoom call, as well as any comments or anything on the YouTube channel. Okay, great. So welcome to today's session. It is the 26th of October, Tuesday. So the DTB system, a bunch of indicators and strategies to help you, make decisions with your trading, paints a really good picture of how price is performing or how it's moving on the chart. I try not to get too technical when I explain the systems because most people really want to just understand the absolute basics. And basically the DTB system is just a simple system with a whole lot of indicators, a whole lot of tools that have been selected to just accompany or to make trading a bit easier for people just looking at their charts. So a really good set of tools. So looking at the risk disclosures for futures trading, so definitely review them. A link will be in the video as well. Okay, so let's pop onto my VPS. Okay, so we'll start with just looking at what happened yesterday on our session. Okay, so I just want to bring up the optimization and stuff from yesterday. So it's really important to run your optimizations and run your testing even after the session that you have, because you really want to make sure that the data that you have, the strategy that you're running, everything that you're doing is actually matching up to the performance that you had on your active trading chart. So yesterday we selected the 4-8 setting. Okay, so that was the 4-8 setting. And what I basically did is I ran all the previous Mondays and I said, okay, well, the previous Mondays looked very good. And I think the last setting that we saw, it made $1,200. So I selected the same setting for the next session. And as you can see, the next session, which was yesterday, the strategy itself had 2 positions that it entered. And we'll get back into that in a moment, for a total of 2-1 profit. Now, yesterday we closed off on just over $1,500, and I'll explain to you why that happened yesterday. But let's have a look at the chart. So this is the specific trading chart from yesterday, and you'll recognize the bar formation, you'll recognize the brick walls and all of that. So we started the strategy just before 9:30, and it took its first position over there. So this is run optimization after the trading day. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that what the trades that we had specifically entered on our the trades that the strategy entered are actually reflecting when we go and use the strategy analyzer again and review the previous data. I don't think there's many companies or people out there that can actually get this right. They might, I don't think many people are working on the strategy analyzer as well. And if they are, there'll be very, very few that are actually getting this accurate. So as you can see yesterday, we had a position taken over there live on the call. And then what was happening, the price was running and I got to about $1,000 profit. And I actually paused the strategy, if you remember, over here. It's about over there. And so I paused the strategy and then I re-enabled it again. The price continued back down and it was looking for the next signal. The next signal came at this point over here. And then what happened again, we entered a short position again. So the strategy entered a short position because that was the next signal after it was activated. And then what happened is the price went down and then it came up and then we actually had a losing position from this entry over here up until this point over there. So it was like $107 loss on there. And then what happened is the next entry entered over there And if you remember, we were watching it bouncing off the brick wall. We were looking at the Fibonacci levels, and then it stopped over there at the session close. So had I not have touched the strategy yesterday at all, had I just let it run, we actually would have only had 2 positions entered, one coming down and then one coming up all the way to close. And that would have generated that, $2,100. So it's $500-600 that we basically left on the table yesterday by pausing the strategy. But the most important thing about this is reviewing what happened to make sure that everything is running accurately. Now, I ran the optimization again, okay, on 2 entries per direction. Okay, now you can run 1 entry per direction, 2 entries per direction, and what this does is it will, let me just see, is this the last trading day? I think I changed something. Yeah, just 1 second. Let me just check it. The second one. Okay, no, it's not. Okay, so 2 entries per direction. So this, it still didn't enter a second position because that wasn't the turnaround that it actually would have acted on. So I should run this again very quickly because I want to just make sure on that very aspect, because it's showing me another signal over there. I just want to check if that counts as the second entry, or was that just a quick change over and it didn't actually take a signal? So let's see. Sometimes you're going to run the optimizer again just to make sure that everything is actually painting as it should. So now all of a sudden it does. So the strategy analyzer, you've got to run results. If something just looks a little bit out of whack, run it again and let it let it show you the results. So what happened yesterday is it entered a position there. I paused it over there. It came over here, entered, then it acted again. So if I had 2 entries per direction open, it would have taken this entry and it would have taken this entry, and they both would have closed over there. So that is why on the call yesterday, we actually had this specific entry taken. We only had 1 entry per direction, and it took this specific signal because I had paused the strategy over here, which means it wasn't in an entry. So that's why it entered over there. If I had, as you see on the previous example or on the previous screen, if I never paused the strategy, it would have just run all the way there and up. It wouldn't have acted on this next signal because I've only got 1 entry per direction. So that's a little bit of explanation around the entries per direction. You can also have multiple entries per direction. You can have up to 4 entries per direction. So if you are looking at this at the strategy, so I'll just do it very quickly over here. We've got a bit of time, which is good. So I'm going to just I'm going to put 4 entries per direction, and I'm going to run this exact optimizer again, just on the 1616 bar, and just see what comes up in the results. Now, it might give us different results because it's going to optimize all the settings, and it's going to find settings where 4 entries are the optimal and giving the best results. So we'll review that. So there's an example there of multiple entries per direction. So the 415 is coming up, and you can see the 48 is not even actually the 48 at the bottom of this list. So there's the 48. So because yesterday there weren't multiple entries in on these signals, it was only 1 entry, 2 entry, then a switch over, then 1 entry. But if you go further back onto this trading chart, previous days, remember we've got a few trading days over here. This is a whole month's worth of data. A lot of these are just 1 entry. So this setting over here even though we've got 4 entries per direction, just because of the formation of the bars, there weren't 4 signals in a direction. But if you go to one of the higher ones, like the 415, there you'll see it has more trades, so 72 trades compared to the 31. And this specific one over here will have more entries in there. So like, there we go. So that explains, that has given more entries. So as an example, yesterday with these settings, with 415 running, it would have entered 1 trade over there, a switch over there, 1 entry, 2 entries, close. 1 entry, 2 entries, 3 entries, 4 entries, close. So it was a very, very profitable day yesterday with, if you use these specific settings. And then I switched over there, had 1 entry, 2 entries, close, 1 entry, damn, and then finished. So if you go to the analysis for yesterday, you'll notice that yesterday, these specific settings would have actually entered or made just under $5,000 on the 11 trades. So, it's another thing to look at is you can optimize and look at values like this, and you can choose how many entries you're going to enter. Now, it's not obviously guaranteed that you're always going to have consistency going up or you'll get more, because you can go through any of these settings. If we go, let's look at the second one. So look at the second setting on here. Even though it's showing very high values, this trading day only made $287. But the day before, the week before on the same day, made 3,700, and the next week it made 5,300. There'll definitely be days where they've lost, like low values. A lot of these won't show many losses, but obviously trading is a probabilities numbers game. So it's very hard to actually work out what is going to consistently make money all the time. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But we're definitely trying to put the odds in our favor. So look at this one over here as an example. This day it lost $300, but then made huge amounts around that. So, at any day we could have a day like that. And we have had them on these sessions where we've lost $1,000 or $700 or $600, whatever the amounts were. But we're still trying to put the odds in our favor by selecting, values that are showing some sort of consistency, and then a bit of play around that. So that's just a review on yesterday and how you can do different optimizations, how you can look at a few different values. You can experiment with the entries per direction, and remember, you can also use the strategy on any contract. So you can do on the micro. So you might want to experiment with the MNQ and go 4 entries per direction. I mean, that's only going to be $2 a tick. But you're going to probably get a lot of good, consistent trades running in a direction. And it's the same with the, the YM, the ES, all the different, the MES, MYM, any of the contracts, you can basically do the same type of approach. Okay, so that was covering that. So any specific questions on that while I had that? Or we good?
Good on my side.
Okay, fine. Thank you. All right. So today, I've got something on over here. So I'll show you this first, this first approach that I'm looking at today. So let me just bring up an optimization over here. So on the DTB bar, so this is a 24-24 bar. And what I've actually done is I've gone and created trading hours template, because yesterday I had 5 a.m. to 1 a.m., but I didn't have Monday, but it was actually Monday. So I've just gone and created, the trading hours template called 5 a.m. to 1 p.m., 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I've selected that one for today. So today's Tuesday, so I've selected Tuesday. Now, what this does is it's going to only load up a very specific amount of data from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. over the last month. So when you're doing longer term optimizations, you're not bringing up lots and lots of data. You're only bringing up chunks of data, because it's within these chunks of data that we are trading. So we are trading we're trading 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Okay, so all that we need to do is have enough data around that period to be able to analyze that specific data. And because we're using the analytical bars, remember we have a lot of these fake bars that are plotting up until the price. Now, this is not right, so I've got to run my optimization again. Sometimes when you flick between analyzers and you click on the charts, it shows you weird things, just like the last one did. I don't know why it does that. So I've run it again, and look, it's that little glitch has disappeared. So we've got, you've got all these false bars that are plotting up until it catches up to price. Now, we do not have break at end of day. So just remember that. It's good not to have that. So all that'll mean is that last Tuesday at 1 p.m., the price ended over there. And this Tuesday, the price started over there. So it's going to draw fake bars up until that value. So we're just giving the price some time around. So there's 5 a.m. It's now 6:30. So there we go. So it's given enough space around these bars to be able to give us accurate information. Okay, so I'll go back. Let's quickly go back to what I was talking about. So what I did over here is I ran the optimization on the 24 bar, and I did them on all the bars too. So I did the 18, 16, 16 with all these settings. Now I shared these settings in the Skype chat earlier, and the only difference with this one that I'm showing you here is the bar size. And obviously I'm using the DTB bars, but the date and the trading hours and all that is the same. So you'll notice that the templates are very, very similar, just with a few little adjustments. The whole top of the template is the same. So the time and the setting A and the B, all of those are exactly the same. The repaints are the same. It's only the bar size that we change, and the start date and end date every now and then. And obviously the trading hours. So there's very few things that we change. So by just loading a previous template, you can actually just continue working with what you were working on. Okay, so I ran this 24 over this specific period. So from the 26th of the 9th to the 26th of the 10th, it's a month's worth of data to only optimize and see Tuesdays. So similar to what the other chart looked like. And these are the results for the Tuesdays. So there's that one. There's that one. I just want to check something over here because I ran this earlier. And this is the 24, that's fine. So the settings that are coming up on here. So I'm looking for a setting that's coming up on here that's also coming up on an optimization. So what I basically did is I duplicated this first tab. I duplicated this tab into a new tab. And on the second tab, what I did, the only modification that I did with the second tab was to change the instrument settings. So instead of optimizing only Tuesdays as an example, we're optimizing every single day between the trading hours of 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So what it's going to do is it's going to every single day over the last month, it's going to give results of what settings worked during that period. So, I mean, it's a little bit of analytics around, with this, but once you do it a few times, you can pretty much duplicate it and it becomes simpler to understand. So the idea behind this is running the entire month's worth of data over, so getting results for every single trading day, and then seeing if there is a result on here that matches up to the results that a Tuesday was very beneficial. So for the last few Tuesdays, what results have worked? And also, is that result in the list with all the other results for the rest of the weeks? So it's just a bit of, thinking around that. And what's happened here, like, for example, the 218 has come up. So the 218 came up on there as making 14,000 with 3,500 drawdown over that entire period. And then it's come up on this list making 6,000 with 3,000 drawdown. So not the best settings. So that's why I'm not going to be using the 24-24 example on this on this call. But you run it like this, you find some similarities between settings. So you can even look at the top 3 settings for the day that you are trading, and then go to your other analyzer and see if one of those top 3 settings are appearing high on the list there. So you're getting a good overall perspective of what settings have worked consistently on a Tuesday before and what settings have also worked for every other day of the week. So it's just a bit of a double analysis thing there. So that was the 24 and 24. I did the exact same thing on the 20 and the 20 as with other instruments that I used. So on this one over here, I ran it. So 221 came up in the settings. Notice how these Tuesdays look. So it made 27, 21, 61. And on the last one, it actually lost 1,000. Okay, the last Tuesday on the 15 trades that it entered.
Quick question, Jason. If you run this optimization based on the analytical bars, same bar size, etc., same kind of thing, do you get the same results or slightly different?
I haven't run this exact approach. We went a bit yesterday on the bar formation of the analytical bars compared to the DTB bars. So remember we discussed that if there's a slight difference in the tick values of the opening bars across the different data feeds, there might be a little bit of inconsistency in the bars according to each one's data feed. So do this exact same thing on those bars and compare the results. And that'll be the best thing to actually do. So I was just wondering whether you looked at it or not, because I mean we've got the time to sit and run it. I was just wondering whether you'd looked at it or not. Yeah, I haven't done a like for like, to be very honest with you.
No problem. That's something we can look at. Thanks.
Okay, no problem. So there we go. So I ran it for every single Tuesday from the 26th of the 9th up until today, which gave me the last 4, and then I also ran it for the last month, the exact same thing like I did on the previous one. And these listings came high up. Now it's showing it's showing a high-ish max drawdown, but it's still showing a very high net profit. But what I'm also looking at is how has this performed over the last few trading days. So remember, this is every single day. So it's had a few losing days, but then the last few days, like 22, 25, which was yesterday, these specific settings made 4,184. These specific settings. I do, however, have 2 entries per direction. So we'll look at the chart for yesterday. So, what happens with the markets is you're going to get the price moving in waves and cycles. And sometimes you can have consecutive days where there's a lot of success. Other days you could have consecutive days like this and then a big losing day and then it changes around. So, you could have that type of a situation too. So you've got to kind of just evaluate a few different things. But what I'm going to do is just look at like the results for yesterday on the chart and see what that looks like. So this is bringing up all the data and we can go and scroll to yesterday's results. Now, I don't know why it's not showing the bar coloring, so I'm just going to run it again. I've got about 4 minutes to go. So basically what I've done is I've used these settings that I've come up on this optimization for today's chart. So I've used a 221 setting on a 2020 DTB bars, and I've used the Tuesday template, which has given me these values. 10,000 profit with 1,000 drawdown. So I've got that active and ready to start the session. I just want to run this again and see what the story is over here. So, I mean, the approach that we're using for these sessions and, trading this, it is a little bit technical, but, we are trading against supercomputers and we're trading against absolute, mathematicians and geniuses that are working for these banks and everything. So, you've got to put a bit of something into it. You can't just wing it, because you can't expect to be, it's like flying a plane. Pilots train for many, many years. You can't just expect that, oh shit, I'm going to go fly a plane and jump in and expect to be good at it. It's something
I still can't. I still can't fly a plane.
You still can't fly one?
I've been doing it for years and I still can't do it right.
Well, there we go. Well, that's why it's called practice, right? So here, example is yesterday's trading settings with this specific chart used. So using the 221 yesterday's trading session, it actually entered all of these trades, and it made like over $6,000. So I'm just looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, well, there's a chance that could continue on today during that period. I'm just gonna put it to that. Based on what the previous price action was in those hours, also looking at the previous, Tuesday. So there's a few things that are putting it in, in my sights to be a decent one. And if it does go $1,000 down, I'll just stop it. Hopefully it won't. So that's my rationale behind that. I've done, and I also did another optimization. What is this one over here? So 26th of the 9th to 26th of the 10th. What did I do here? I did 3. So is there anything different between this one and this one? No, there's not. Okay. Right, so that's why I've selected this specific setting for today, which is basically this setting over here, 221. Showing 86 trades, 50% with that, if you're looking at only a specific day. So I'm going to put that aside and bring up our trading chart, which is this one over here. And it's starting to paint these bars. And if I go into the strategy, so when I save this template, I also try to be as descriptive as possible with it so that it's not confusing at all. So template, save. So I called it 2020, 26 October, DTB bars 2020, 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tuesday trading hours template. And then I called it trading chart. So it separates it. So I know which one I've selected. And then these are basically all the other ones that I did. So there are 2 tabs on the analyzer. If you look at the analyzer, and I basically saved the tab with the specific trading hours like this. So 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. for Tuesday. And then I also saved it as a 2020 bars with the instrument settings from the 26th of the 9th to the 26th of the 10th. So when I look at that, I know exactly what has been selected, and I know that it's just going to be simple to read and understand. Okay, so now that I've got this and I've got my chart, what I can go and do is I can go and duplicate this chart in a new window. I can change my I could just make this days, because what I want to do now is I just want to go and pop on like some indicators, some supporting indicators that we can reference to during the session. Okay, so if I go to my indicators, I forget to use these shortcuts on top. So I'm going to go and load up my Fibonacci levels, which is a very good indicator to work with, as we've seen on the sessions. So I'm going to load that just so we can see where the price is and what it looks like. And then I'll switch over to the trading chart and see if there's any trades as the market opens. Come on, it's now gone 9:30. about a minute. I should have done it about a few minutes before, but anyway, that's it. It's I'm not going to click on anything until this highlights. Okay, so there it's highlighted. So I'm going to click on that tab. Okay, so there's the first entry from this automated strategy. Oh, come on. So ticking on this little box over here, it puts you can change what the values are and stuff for that. I will just go and change the data series to make it a little bit larger to view. Oh, it's not there. It's the properties, actually. So properties. And what is it? What size am I going to make this? The font, I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger. 16 shall do. And okay. All right. There's a bit of a switch over signal there on that one. Seems to be a slight lag in the moving of the price and the chart. So I hope I haven't got too much open that it's impacting something. Seems to be okay. We can go and look at the you know what the problem is the Fibonacci levels indicator is still loading. That's probably why it is lagging a little bit on my side. So try get the indicator loaded before you start your strategies and your charts and whatever. Hopefully that'll be better. Okay, so now we've had a sell signal. So I think this is going to be a lot more active, this specific session with the trades. There's a lot more trades that are going to enter during this specific session. So a lot of like little switch over trades. That seems to be what it's going to be doing. Now, you can go and activate your trailing stop if you would like by using your trailing stop button. So on any of your charts, on your strategies, you can do that. Yeah, it is this one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cancel that for now, because that indicator, loading that indicator is just causing a bit of an issue. I might duplicate this in a new window and then have this on another chart completely and see if that helps with loading the template and if it's effective. So it'll be interesting to see which Fibonacci levels are in play over here. Probably would have been a little bit more up to pausing and stuff if I was watching the different levels. So I think it's important, definitely important to have your Fibonacci levels on your chart so you can see what's happening, and maybe even just do some work around them if you need to do some pausing or whatever. So any feedback on your guys' strategies, how they're running at the moment?
Mine is, I'm a little bit behind, so let's give it a chance. Thank you.
Mine's running okay.
All right.
I'm doing a 10-10 and it's doing really well.
Okay, nice. So a little bit of, bouncing around at the moment, well, at the beginning of the session. So we had a sell and then a buy and then a buy and then a sell and then a buy, and the price, and now it looks like it's got a bit of direction at this stage. As soon as my Fibonacci levels come up on my other chart, I'll be able to see where price is more likely to be struggling.
Jason, there's a daily at 697.
Okay. Thank you. So there's quite a big gap. So there's no real stopping. There's no real levels between where the price is now and 697. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it seems to be stuck right in the middle between two big ones.
Okay.
Looks like price is approaching all-time highs, isn't it?
Oh man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's this price at the moment of this Nasdaq.
I think. I mean, it's approaching 15,700, which is
Yeah.
it was a high back in September 6th.
Okay.
So Jason, I'm watching profitable trades, and then I clicked pause, and then I click on strategy performance, and it still says 0. That's
possible. Sometimes it might just update afterwards. I don't know why that would do that. So you basically right click on the chart and go, you know what I think that is? It's because the strategy still believes that it should be in a position. So it's only after you've just keep an eye on it and see what it happens. I haven't got an exact answer for that.
I would just hate for it to do that if I were actually live.
Yeah,
real money.
Well, that's the thing, and I think sometimes the sim accounts do not show properly the values. The
I think
actual
so too.
things.
Yeah, thanks.
But you can always look at your accounts tab on your control panel, and you can see what that looks like. So currently I'm up basically $500 for the session so far. I'll just monitor the channel over here also. So we could possibly have a sell signal over here. I can't believe my chart is still not loading up my fib levels. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's a bit unusual. It normally loads pretty quickly. I probably needed to restart NinjaTrader because I've been doing a lot of work on it. So there could be a little bit of a just a lot of excess stuff in there that NinjaTrader holds onto that I should have already cleared, and that could delay things. Okay, let's see. I think my instrument settings, I never had. I mean, on my days when I loaded it up, I didn't have instrument settings. That could be causing an issue with on my chart that I just loaded on the side. So let me just see if that makes a difference. So if this price now goes and breaks above this little brick wall that it created, we'll probably get another entry long over here. So often, you know, the price comes and pulls back, and if it goes and breaks up and continues, we'll get another signal. Okay, are you guys not seeing a 4-hour level on your chart at the 15,658?
That's 658.
Yeah, so that was a level where the price could actually struggle, which it actually did. I only noticed that now because my thing just finished. So there's your 4-hour level, you see. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if it actually comes and breaks through it or will bounce off it. So a little bit more, you know, bouncing around of price compared to yesterday, where it just went, you know, very fast in one direction. This is kind of a going a bit, bouncing around, going a bit, bouncing around. So we'll see what effect that has on our strategy today. So now the strategy entered its second position. Okay, so it's entered a second position because that is the second signal on that brick wall. Okay, I'm just going to check. So I've got my 5 minute on this chart. I want to change that to a different bar size. So just the $20 and the 20. Okay, so a little bit of a stall over here. Stall over here. Okay, you're supposed to be muted. Okay, so I've got a few things here. Yeah, so we basically had that 15,660 level, which is the 4-hour level. The 4-hour, not 4-hour. Yeah, sorry, the 4-hour 0, which is a strongish level there above. So it seems like it's actually breaking down. So we've got a big gap below the price, unfortunately. I just noticed that a little bit too late. All right, so we'll keep monitoring this, and very often, you'll have the price come and bounce off a strong level, and then it will come out and take some stops. They might even do the same thing coming up. So they'll have a breakout, come up, take some stops, and then come down again. So hopefully this is a situation where, okay, so it's actually switched over signals there. So that's where it's switched over its signals. It's now in a signal going down. So that's, I would say this is where the price is going to go, because if we look at our Fibonacci levels over here, we actually had the price go all the way from the last level. So the last strong level that it was at was the 76 on the daily. So it went right up. There was nothing stopping it at all the way until the 4-hour, and now it's bounced off that 4-hour and come down. So unfortunately, I didn't have my fib levels active on my chart, but I really would have paused it at that level and just waited for the next signal. So I probably would have captured a bit more. I would have captured a little bit more on the strategy by doing that. So sometimes, when the price is approaching a strong level like that, and you're having a bounce off it, that could be a really good time to pause your strategy, because that that's where likely there's bound to be a bit of a reaction in price. Just change something on the fib level there. Okay, so a little bit of a little bit of flicking around signals over here. So we've got a little bit of inconsistency with actual price movement here. So a little bit of up and down action. So we'll see what holds. So there's a lot more brick walls on here than what we've had like on yesterday's session. This is a strategy that enters more positions though. So we'll see what's going to happen over here. Okay, so that's mine. How does it look on your guys' side? And you know, just go if you want to just say what bar size you're using and what your results have been so far. That'll be awesome.
32.8, a lot of pausing up and down, about 223.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm running the 16 by 16 DTB bars, a little bit behind, $500 behind. So I optimized and applied new settings, and hopefully it recovers.
Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a glitch.
You've had the system just this platform crash on you or something like that?
Well, I'm running NQ 1010 on one screen and 2020 on another screen, and in two different sim accounts, but yet they're I paused on one sim account and it actually paused, closed me out on the other. So that's, I don't think it's supposed to do that. So I'm just reconfiguring.
Okay. All right. So that's a bit of an odd one. So we're coming up to the top of the hour. So we like it. This just jumps up a little bit. 9:55, 9:54. We'll see what happens. You know, there is, however, a very big gap below the price. So that is more than likely. We really have, we're in no man's land right now. So this price could actually go any direction. It has had that bounce off there. So are they just going to, you know, did they go and bounce off, come back down, take out stops, and are they going to come back and attack that? That's very often what they can be doing in this type of a situation, especially when they've gone right up without any stopping really. They've gone up, come back down, tested this 5 minute 76.4, went all the way back up and got to that high, that new high, and then bounce the price down. Yeah, so there's unfortunately a big gap under here. So if we stuck in a sell position for and it continues down, that'll be a bit crap. The other option is for this price just to come back and come closer to this hourly. So looking at that, the price is either going to break up from this bar or break down. So if it breaks up from this bar, we'll probably be around this area, about 60 ticks. Bit hard to do that in a few minutes. it'll probably be on one of these bar closes that the strategy will exit. But for the rest of the session, I mean, for the rest of the day, we're probably going to see this price either come back and retest this level, which is a good 345 ticks away, or it's going to go up, break through this 100, and then continue up. Oh, how far can that even go? Quite a distance, actually. Actually, the next strong level of support is this one over here. Oh, I've got so much text on here. So above is a huge cluster of Fibonacci levels above the price right now. So looking at that, we've got breaking through there. We've got these levels over here. So that's 226. So that's why we're probably going to see the price going for the rest of the day, but we're probably going to look at it come down over here. So so we've got a huge move for the rest of the day and the market for this price to really fly. It's really going to fly. So I only got about 3 minutes of this session going. So I would like to see this guy go and hit this bar. So go and go to this situation over here where it will touch and form a new bar, and just give us another bar going up. That'll be just fine. 1 or 2 bars up. Yeah, 2 bars will be good. Maybe even 3. If you want to give us 3 bars, that'll also be fine. Yeah, that'll be fine. Nice. Okay, sell. Interesting. Okay, so we're literally about 2 minutes into the close of the session. Oh, and now I buy. So a lot of positions, as you notice, there's a lot of trades in this setup. Okay, so into the last minute. So when this bar closes, more than likely the strategy will pause wherever it is. Okay, so this bar, when this bar closes, we should have exit on session close. There we go. Okay, so that is the session. It didn't do as fabulous as I was hoping it would do, but we'll look at the trades anyway. So strategy performance, and I'll go to real time, and we ended on 381 negative. So we went as high as 500 during the session. It's not nice seeing a sea of red, but that's how it went today. So those were the trades. So we had a few biggish losing positions where they had 2 positions enter and go down. So yeah, that's what happened today.
There's a lot of days still ahead, Jason. So
exactly, yeah. I'm saying my day, my day's finished. So for you guys, you still got a huge day ahead. At least now you've got the ability to be able to use the optimization and work from there. But yeah, in essence, the strategy is working. It's just that today we didn't have a favorable result. But I know that if we did optimizations and we see what the strategy did now, and we actually run the optimization for the session. So if I go to my 2020 bar right now, so this is the optimization that I selected. Okay. So if I go do this now and I run the optimization, so I'm going to include tomorrow's date. Okay. So I'm going to do that. And we'll let this just run. And what this will do, this should show today's performance in there as well. There we go. So as you can see, 12 positions, that's about what the strategy entered. If you look at the chart, you'll notice it looks very similar and identical basically to what we were trading. So looking at that and looking at that, you'll see so that is how you know that your optimization, your results are matching your what's happening on the chart. So we know that what we selected actually happened during the day. It wasn't giving us any false it wasn't giving us any false results from the analyzer. So just, yeah, some days we're gonna have this and other days not. So there we go. So even just looking at the analyzer, looking at other results in and around it, you can do that too. So another option that you can do during your trading session is while you can have your 20, if you've got a 2020 bar running, you can go and do exactly what we did now, choose the next day and run your strategy analyzer during your session. And then you can also look at all your results and you can see if there's anything around there that is giving you better results. So I'll do this very quickly. I know it's past the time, but I'll run this optimization very quickly on the analytical bars, the 2020. Hang on, I just want to change this to the next day. So we always have the end date as the next trading day. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You just got to run it. Sometimes using the same trading day is okay, but sometimes it doesn't work. So what this is going to do, now remember this setting that I'm looking at now, this 2020, this is optimizing the best trading values between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. for an entire month's worth of data. So this is what you could also be running on the side while you're having your session going. I know especially if you're trading for 5-6 hours at a time. I mean, this is only like a 30-minute session. But basically what you can do is if you're running a much longer session of 2 or 3 hours, you can continue running your optimizations in the background and see if the settings that you are on now are still the best favorable settings for the session that you are in. So it doesn't really help too much with the session that we're doing because it's only like 30 minutes. But definitely for the rest of your trading day and for other sessions that you are trading, is use this tool because it's going to help you, just see if there's anything better out there that is more effective. So yeah, as an example is the rest of the settings. Now we had a 221, so we selected the 221. Okay, so that is our setting over there. Now, as you notice, it's dropped a bit down the list. That's showing you the accurate trades. So anytime during your session, whatever time you run your optimization, it will keep optimizing the price up until where you currently are. So you can go and look at your settings in your optimizer and you can say, okay, well, let's see what other settings above are giving. Okay, that one doesn't look too different. That one, you can look at, okay, so where are we in the trading day? Now, obviously, like I said, we've got a very small sample of data here, but looking over a larger period, you can go and re-optimize and see if the current settings that you are using are still the best. So in this situation, for this 30 minutes, we couldn't have done too much because all the results basically showed the price just bouncing around these levels, and there wasn't anything better for that specific 30 minutes. Now, that's because it's a very short period. But this will definitely help you going through the trading day, and hopefully assist you on staying with the best settings. Okay, good. I'll leave it at that. Thanks for being on the call. We'll do one more session tomorrow night or tomorrow morning.
Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
It's a pleasure. And good. We'll chat to you then. Thanks, guys. Okay. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.